Change is challenging. And too often, I see people making organizational change harder than it needs to be, simply by the way they classify it as either a negative or positive change. But what if there was something equally simple that you could do to decrease the stress of change and make navigating through the process easier for everyone involved? Stay tuned for one of the most powerful shifts that you can do to reduce the fear, anxiety, and make change easier. The way we describe a change event directly impacts our reaction, and it can make it harder and more stressful. Have you ever heard yourself say when an organizational change is announced or you encounter something that's unexpected, "Oh, this is awful, this is terrible," or any other kind of negative comment or thoughts about the change? Or maybe you initiated or heard an announced change and thought, "This is fantastic, it's great," and had other positive comments or thoughts about the change. Regardless of which label you applied, in that instance, you made navigating the transition and the change event harder and more stressful. That's because the label predetermines your reaction and can leave you unprepared for the transition. And that's true even when you view the change as positive. And I'll explain more about that in a minute. One of the most powerful things that you can do to reduce the fear, anxiety, and make change easier for everyone is to take the labels off. This is one of the concepts we explore in our Stress Management for Change course. In it, I encourage participants to move away from looking at change as either bad or good, negative or positive, and to simply look at it through a lens of this is different or neutral. Asking participants to take the label of negative or positive and view change as neutral usually stimulates some very lively conversation among the group or with the leader I'm working with. And ultimately, one or two people are very adamant that certain changes must be classified, mostly in a negative context. But every change brings loss, uncertainty, and gain. Loss because no matter what the change, you must let go of the current state before you can move forward to do anything different. Uncertainty, because there will always be periods of uncertainty as you move through the transition from old to new, no matter how well the change is planned. And gain, even a change you may want to label as negative, brings some new opportunity. For example, a job loss might be the catalyst that launches you in a new career, while that longed-for promotion might mean leaving a home you love to move to an unfamiliar city where you have no friends or family nearby. Instead of labeling change as good or bad, negative or positive, recognize change as different, as neutral. I know that's a tough one because we see change within the context of our lives. But when you label the change as negative or bad or awful, you close yourself off to the new opportunities that might be within the event or the transition. You may overlook resources that can help you navigate that transition. Research found that people who believed stress was bad had a decreased ability to use available resources to reduce their stress. And remember, I said that even when you label a change as positive, it can leave you unprepared and increase the stress of the change. And here's why. When you label a change event as good or only see it as positive, you may not adequately assess the risk, look at potential barriers, or the amount of effort required to navigate your white space. And that white space is the space between where you are when you initiate or a change event has occurred and where you need to be to achieve a desired result. So if you run into an unexpected consequence, or the transition requires more work than you had expected, or people are slower to engage than you expected, you may give up, rationalize not moving forward, or label people as resistant to change. Removing the label and approaching change as neutral doesn't mean you don't explore and highlight the benefits, nor does it mean ignoring the loss or uncertainty that comes with change, or in some cases, the grief. In fact, it's just the opposite. I know and have experienced many changes that were neither welcomed nor wanted and were very painful. I'm not minimizing those events, but what I've found, and many of the people I've worked with have found, that taking the label off has at least not made it worse. When you approach change as neutral, you can experience and better navigate the full range of emotions that must be experienced to thrive in a world of constant change. The next time you're confronted with a change event, especially one you didn't initiate, try this. Instead of labeling it as good or bad, see if you can think of a phrase that allows you to reassess it, that allows you to take a step back and look at it in a larger context. For example, this is unexpected. This was a surprise. This is different. Or as one client describes it, as interesting. And what he's found is that by using just interesting, it gives him the pause and the chance to respond in a manner that's more conscious and that's more open to exploring the full scope of what that change means for him, his organization, and the people around him. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the video helpful. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.